Hello, my student, how are you? Today we are going to learn how to express agreement and disagreement. Now, when we are in a conversation or having a chatting with a friend, we express opinions, we express agreement or disagreement with the other person. In this lesson, we are going to learn words and phrases that are very useful to use when we give our opinion, when we give our agreement or disagreement with the other people. Now let's start by giving an opinion in English. If you ask me, I would go with the other direction. I would have to say that I really disagree with you in this point. The way I see it is different. For example, يعني, I sometimes think that you are mistaken. I would just like to say that I agree with you. It's my feeling that I'm not really 100% with this idea. I tend to think that Sarah's opinion is right, but yours is wrong. As far as I'm concerned about you, I want you really to change your mind and rethink about it. In my opinion, or in my point of view, I think we should go crossword. From my from my point of view, as well as I said right now, I really feel or that. Now these expressions هدول كل هالexpressions نقدر نستعملها قبل ما نحكي الأوبينيون تاعنا. نقدر نحفظ واحدة أو تنتين أو ثلاثة منهم. لما نحكي opinion, we want to express our opinion, we can use one of these expressions. I wrote down the examples that I have just mentioned. الإكزامبل اللي هلا حكيناهم هيهم. Now, adjective to express agreement. Now, if you want to express that you are okay and go along with the other person talk, you can use absolutely. Now, absolutely معناها على الإطلاق. That you are emphasis that you are not going to change your mind and you are 100% in. Definitely معناها بالتأكيد no doubt. Exactly having the same thought. يعني إنه نفس التفكير بالتأكيد أو بالضبط زي ما أنا في بالي بنقدر نستعملها. Fair enough. Okay يعني مثل okay هيك عدل. It's fair enough to me. Examples. I absolutely love your French cookies. I will definitely be at the airport to meet you. This is exactly what's in my mind. I think it's fair enough to hear what you have to say. Now, we are going to learn phrases, not adjective, phrases to show the agreement. There are formal and informal. Informal, we can use it to chat with our friends, maybe families, and people in general. We can use one of these informal phrases. He's quite right. He's absolutely right. I agree with what you said. I agree with you, him. I agree with you 100%. I will give you examples for each one of this in the next slide. I'm with you. I couldn't agree more. هلا انتوا بتقدروا تاخذوا واحد من هاي الphrases وتحفظوها بتقدروا تستعملوها to show your agreement if you are in a conversation and you want to show your friend that you agree with him or her. You can use one of these phrases. There are many phrases, by the way, a lot. I think so, I guess so, I suppose so, I see where you're coming from, I really think so. There are a lot, there are a lot. See, more informal phrases to show agreement. I couldn't agree with you more. Just so, no doubt about. Oh, that's interesting. Quite so. That is right. And so long. Now, let's take some examples for these phrases. Oh, no, wait, more informal phrases. Look here. That is so true. That's exactly how I feel. It's true. By the way, which one of these phrases is your favorite? There are a lot, but sure that you have one in your mind. You can use it and memorize it and practice to use it in your daily conversation with your friends and family. Now, examples. Ali said we all need to protect the environment. He is quite right. Now, that's show that we all agree with Ali. I feel we need to go to the doctor. I agree with you 100%. You look really sick. I'm hungry. Let's go to the restaurant. Yeah, I feel the same way. The same way is the agreement phrase. I agree with you 100% is the agreement phrase. And so, as well, here, he is quite right. Now, there are a lot of agreement phrases. You can pick one of your favorite phrases and try to put it in sentences or try to use it in a conversation and send it to me. Expressing formal agreement. هلا هون قاعدين نستعمل formal language. This formal language is with maybe at work we can use it with our boss, maybe with older people. If you want to be formal, if you have an interview and you are agree on something, you can use one of these phrases. It's very important to memorize three or four of these expressions. Let's see. I'm at one with him at that point. طبعا him, her, they عادي حسب شو sentences اللي عندك. I agree with you entirely. I hold the same opinion. I approve of it. I have come to the same conclusion. I have no objection if you want to show that it's okay يعني كل موضوع عم بيمر معك بسلاسة. I have to side with you in this one. Yes, of course. Let's take some examples of these formal agreements. Example 1. I have come to the same conclusion with you in our last meeting. So I have to side with you in this one. As you can see, I was able to use two phrases in one sentence. I have no objection about your terms and rules. This expression or this sentences, as you can see it, you can use it in work interview, job interview. Uh, if you are agree with the terms and rules of the companies, you can use this one to look more formal. Are you on board with us? Yes, of course. Actually, this is an expression usually used by the boss at the end of the meeting. Are you on board with us؟ يعني انتوا حتكونوا معنا في طريق شركة مثلا أو أي اجتماع. شو بنجاوب؟ Yes, of course, if we want to show agreement. Now, we are going to talk about disagreement. Disagreement. Let's see some informal phrases. As I mentioned before, try always to memorize and pick 3 to 4 phrases. Try to memorize it and write it down and practice in using it in conversation or in sentences. If you want to show informal disagreement, you can say, I totally disagree. No way. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think, do you really think he's off his head? I think the otherwise. I'm afraid I disagree. I'm not sure about that. And so on. See, we have a lot of expression and phrases. Maybe you can search online for more phrases and expression. I tried so hard to put you the most used expression, and they are a lot. So as I told you, try to memorize one or two. حاولوا إنكم تحفظوا واحد أو اثنين أو ثلاثة من ال expressions و try to practice on them and try to use them if you want to show the disagreement or agreement or if you want to give opinion. Now let's take some examples. Examples of the informal disagreement. Ali, I totally disagree with you. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think you need to end the project. As you can see, we could able to put two expressions in one sentence. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I disagree with you in this one. Could be anything. One could be any topic, any subject, anything. You can say it just like this. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I disagree with you in this one. So easy. Now, if you want to express formal disagreement, as we said before, if you are in a meeting or in a job interview and you want to be polite and formal, you can use one of these phrases. Let's read it. I would say the exact opposite. I agree up to a point, but this actually means like you you can give them a chance to say their opinion and you agree for most of their opinion, but there is something stuck, something you're not agree with. I'm afraid that is not quite true. I beg to differ. I couldn't agree with you less. But if you want to show agreement, you can say it. I couldn't agree with you more. So this is really a very creative expression. It's actually my favorite. I use it a lot. I don't entirely agree with you. I must take issue with you on that. And so on. If you want to express partial agreement, you can say expressing partial agreement. These are the phrases to express that you are agree or disagree, that you are confusing and you don't know if you are totally agree and if you are not. تقدر تعملها لما أنت تكون موافق على أشياء ومش موافق على أشياء. فإيش ممكن نحكي؟ ممكن نحكي I see your point that I agree, but there's something I don't agree with you in it. I kind of agree with you. I agree with you to an extent. However, you make a good point, but yes, okay, but perhaps. As you can see, every phrases of these has to end with but or however or perhaps. I see what you mean, but have you thought about? I hear what you are saying, but there's another slide for partial agreement. True enough, but it sounds interesting, but that seems obvious, but, and so on. Now, I have prepared an example for formal disagreement, and we mentioned in the previous slides. Now let's read the examples. I don't entirely agree with you. I think we need to change our methods and tools. As you can see, it seems that always the subject is serious, and this language we can use it only in the workplace, in companies, with our bosses, with with the other employee. So it sounds like a serious language. I must take issue with you on that, sir, sir, boss, anything, because this is a big waste of money, a big waste of money. I'm afraid that is not quite true. I think we can be more creative. Now I have prepared you an examples for a partial disagreement. Let's read it together. I see your point, but as we mentioned, there is always a but. Don't you think we should try to do it different this time? I see what you mean, but have you thought about other things to do? That seems obvious, but I think we need to learn something else. Okay, here we have a conversation. This conversation shows agreement and disagreement. But before I start reading the conversation, do you have any for favorite phrase or expression for the partial disagreement? If you have, please try to write down your favorite phrases for everything, for giving opinion, for disagreement, for agreement, for partial agreement, and write it down on your notebook. And then try to write sentences and have it in a conversation and try to practice it. Okay, let's read the conversation right now. Noor, what is your opinion about the taste of meatballs? Ola, I think it tastes really good. Noor, are you sure? I think it needs something. Ola, no, I don't think so. It tastes fine to me. Another conversation. Jerry, hi, look at my new ring. Isn't it cool? John, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Your ring is so cool. It perfectly matches with your finger. It must be a very expensive ring. So this is a conversation that only shows agreement. Now this is our last slide for this video. We have a homework. Try to write a conversation with your friend and try to include agreement or disagreement. And send me and tell me who is your friend and send me the conversation. يعني both of you will send me the same homework. كل الزميلين يبعتوا لي conversation اللي بينهم. This conversation should include agreement or disagreement. You can add giving opinion, partial agreement. It's okay. So write it down and send it to me. And then we'll be discussing it later together. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something today. Write down your favorite phrases and expression and try to practice them in your daily conversation. Thank you so much. See you in my next video.